Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to teach you about all the important Linux commands that every DevOps or a cloud engineer should know. In this video, I'm covering all the topics like creating a file, directory, editing them, installing packages from internet, connecting to a remote server. All the advanced stuff is going to be cleared. So if you want to become a Linux expert, watch this video till the end and let's get started and learn Linux. I can see what are the different folders or what are the different directories or files present in my current path. So if I do ls and I do enter, you can see that I can see all the different folders. So let me show you that with an example of while showing this by side as well. So you can see that all these different files are present here. So you can see Ansible, app, Astarte and bin, desktop, everything is present here. So when I do ls, I can see the different files present in my current directory. So let's create a folder so that we can learn about all the different commands. So to create a folder, I have to run a command which is make directory, which is mk make dir. So this means make directory, and directory is also known as folder. So whenever you heard about directory, just consider it as a folder. So let's create a folder named as learn Linux. So you can see right now I don't have any folder which is named as learn Linux. So if I go here, so you cannot see any folder which is learn Linux here. And if I do enter, a folder which is named as learn Linux will be created. So let me show you that. So if I search for learn, so you can see there is a folder which is learn Linux. It is created right now and it does not have any items in it, right? So it says zero item. So let's go inside this learn Linux. If you go through graphical interface, you just have to click on it. But if you want to go through terminal, you have to run a command which is cd, also stands for change directory. So if you want to go in any of the directory, let's say for this learn Linux, you just have to type in the cd command and the name of the directory. So I can just type learn and I can press tab to autocomplete. So if I do learn and I press tab, it will automatically type the Linux, which is it will do autocomplete and we can get the whole name of the directory. And if I do enter, you'll see that there is a change now. And now you can see that here you can see there is learn Linux, which means I am inside my learn Linux directory or learn Linux folder, right?
Yes.
So this tilde sign that you see here stands for the home directory. So in home directory, you are inside the learn Linux folder. Now if you want to create a file, you can do it with a command which is known as touch and the name of the file. So let's say I want to create a file which is 1.txt. So if you see, there is no file currently here, and once I run this command, there will be a file here. So touch is the command to create a file and it will create an empty file. So touch 1.txt will create a file, and if I do ls, I should see a file inside. So you can see that 1.txt is present now, and if you see here, there is 1.txt inside here as well, right? So touch is a command to create a file which should be empty. So if I go here, you can see that there is no content present here, right? But if you have like done the previous sessions, you know about the command which is nano. So nano is a text editor which can be used to edit or insert text inside a file. So I can go here and type in nano 1.txt and I can start writing anything. So like, and I can say this is a Linux file, right? So I am inputting some text here and I can save it by doing exit Control X and Y, and now I have some text written in my 1.txt, which if I'm using graphical interface, I can double click on it and I can see that I have written this is a Linux file. But how do I read it through my terminal? So I can use the command which is known as cat. So cat and the name of the file. So if I type in 1, it will autocomplete and give me the file name. And if I run cat 1.txt, you can see that it shows me the output, which is this is a Linux file, right? So touch is used to create an empty file. Nano is a text editor which can write or edit text, right? But you can also create a file using nano, and you can also let's say there is no other file, like there is only 1.txt. I want to create a file and I also want to input some text in it. So I will do nano.2.txt. So I am creating a second file and I'm also editing it right now. So if I type in enter, it will open the text editor, and I'm going to type in this is second file. Alright, and I save it, I press enter and I save it. Now if I do ls, I should see two files right now.
Two files.
I have two files, one of them is created using touch and the second one is creating using nano. Right, so if I do cat2.txt, I should see the content inside the 2.txt. If I press enter now, I should see that this is the second file, same as what I have entered while creating the file. Same way, if you see here, you can see two files created now. Using Linux, you can create a lot of files in just a fraction of seconds. So let's say I want to create a lot of files, so 3.txt and 4.txt and 5.txt, all of them in a single command. If I do enter, I don't get any error, and now if you see, I have 5 files right now. Right, so using Linux commands, you can create a lot of files. It is very easy for you to work with Linux when you use commands. And now we have learned how to create a file, how to list the files in the directory, how to edit a file, or how to create a file using nano as well. So let's learn how to delete a file. So to delete a file, you have to run this command, which is rm, also stands for remove. So if I want to remove any of the files, let's say I want to remove the 1.txt file here, I just need to type in the name rm1.txt, and if I press enter, it will remove the file. Now if I do ls, I should see all the files except 1.txt. So you can see that 1.txt is gone now.
But it doesn't give confirmation, is it?
No,
confirmation
unless no, it won't give you confirmation. If it gives you any error, so if it gives you any error, then it is a problem. If it does not gives you any output, if it does not gives you any error, which means your command has run successfully.
Alright, okay.
Right, so now you have learned that how to delete a file. So if you want to delete any single file, you can just run rm and the name of the file. If you want to delete all of the files, I have already told you about this mark, which stands for asterisk, or all the files. So if I run this, everything inside this folder should be deleted. So if I run this command, you have got no error, no output, which means your command has run successfully. And if I do ls, you should see that no files are present now. If I show you in the graphical user interface, it says that folder is empty. Right, so now you have learned how to create a file, how to edit a file, how to delete a file, and how to delete multiple files as well. Right, so let's go ahead and create more files right now. So 1.txt, 2.txt and 3.txt. So this file will create 3 files at once. So if I do ls, you can see 3 files are created right now. Let's go ahead and create a directory inside this directory, and I am going to create a directory named as test or test. Let's create a directory inside this learn Linux command, learn Linux directory, and to create a directory, the command is mkdir and the name of the directory, which is test1. So if I go and type, so you can see that test1 is created, and the test1 is in blue color, whereas all the other files are in green color. So this indicates that test1 is a directory and all the others are files. But if you want to still see like what are the types, so you can do ls-l, and this will tell you that this is the directory. So if you see here D, which is directory, and if you don't see anything else, which means it is a file. And this are the permissions of the file. So R stands for read, W stands for write, and the X that you see here stands for executable. So read, write, execute, and read, write, execute. The first column is for the group, and then for the organization, and then for the people. So I'll be teaching you that later on, but for now, just remember that we have created a directory which is test1. So let's go inside that directory. So to go inside directory, you have to run cd command or change directory command and the name of the directory, which is test1. So now I have only pressed the tab key and it has entered the name of the directory, that is test1, because there is only one test1 directory inside this. So if I press enter, which means I am inside my test1 directory, right? So this path will tell you where you are right now. So now we have learned how to create a directory, how to create files, how to edit, how to remove all of the stuff. So if I want to go back to my learn Linux command, learn Linux directory, how am I going to go back? So to go back to a previous folder, you have to run cd space dot dot. This means you are going to go back to the learn Linux directory. If I press enter, you will see that I am back inside my learn Linux. I am no
One
more
step.
into my, yeah, I am one step back. Right? If you want to go two step back, let's go back to the test1 directory now. And if you want to go to the two step back, you can do 2 dash and a separator slash, and if I press again 2 dot, I will be back again to my home directory, this directory here. Right? So if I do here, I am back again inside my test home directory. So this cd will take you one step back, this will take you 2 step back. Right? And if let's say I want to go back to the test directory again, so I'm going to do learn Linux. So learn Linux and test, I am inside my directory. So if I am anywhere, no matter I'm anywhere, if I just type cd, it will take me back to the home directory, no matter I am anywhere. So if I do cd, I am back again to my home directory. So this is one of the thing you need to know, that no matter where you are. So let's say I am inside my app directory, and what do I have in there? So I have test in that. Also, what do I have in test? I don't have anything. So I am inside my app directory, I am inside my test directory. So if I do just cd, I am back again to my home directory.
Oh, it's like cd space dot dot slash dot dot, like that, same, is it?
Yeah, same. So let's go back to the learn Linux again, and let's go back to the test one again. So inside, let me make more directories. So if let's say I want to make test 2, and I want to make test 3, and I want to make test 4, and I want to make test 5. So I cannot do it, I just want to pass in the -r command. So let's say I'm going to create only a directory inside a test1 directory, which is test2, and I need to go into the test2 directory. So I am inside my test2 directory right now. So if you want to do these 2 commands on a single line, you can do like this as well. So let's say we are going to create another test3 directory, and I also want to go into that directory on a single command. So how can I do this? I can do it by running 2 commands, separating it using this symbol. So mk directory test3 and cd into test3. Right? So you can see now I have also created, and I am also inside my directory.
Test 3.
Right? So if I am here, if I want to go back to this home directory, I can do it by running cd only, or else I can also do it by going back. So if I do this, I'll be back in test2. Then if I do this, I'll be back in test1. Then if I do this, I'll be back into learn Linux command. And if I do this, I'll be back in my home directory now.
Alright. But if you do cd, you will go back to home directory.
Yeah, no matter where I am, no matter inside or wherever I am, if I just do cd, I'll be back to my home directory. Right? So now I hope you have learned about the cd command correctly. So let's go back to our learn Linux test1 command, and let's go and delete the folders inside it. So let's see what do we have here. So we have test2. I'm going to go into test2. What do I have here? I have test3. So let's go and see what do I have in test3. I have nothing in test3 now. So I'm going to go back one step back, and I'm going to delete this folder here, test3. So to delete any folder or any directory, you have the command remove directory. So remove directory and the name of directory, which is test3 here. So I'm going to press enter, and I see that there is no test3 now. Let's go back again to my test2, and if you see here, you can see test2 is present. But let's say I want to delete the test1 and test2 at a time. So I can go back here, and I am inside my learn Linux. I have test1, and inside test1 I have test2. Right? So if I want to delete, I can run the command test1 like I have done previously, but it will show me an error. It says that directory is not empty. So you cannot delete the directories which are not empty. So to delete them, you can run -r and the name of the directory. So if I do ls, you can see that test1 has gone. So this -r stands for recursive, and this can be confusing, like when to use what. And there is another command which everyone should know, which is man, which stands for manual, and man and the name of the command. So let's say I am running rm. This will tell you everything about this command, every detail about this command. If I run manual rm, so I will get the detail like what is the name rm. Rm is to remove files or directories. So this is the syntax, and it gives you the description that this manual page documents is the GNU version. Rm removes each specified file, and it will give you all the other options you have, like F is for force, I is to prompt every removal, -I. So if you see, -R is recursive, which removes directories and their contents as well. So whenever we use -R, we have deleted the directory as well as whatever was inside it.
Okay.
Right? So you can also
Recursive.
get, yes, recursive. So
Because
you
the
don't need
pattern.
you don't need to remember this. You will learn this when you do it when you practice it. And
Alright.
so it says like this manual page. If you want to get more help, you can press H. If you want to quit, you can press Q. So I press Q and I'm back inside my terminal again. So now you can see that it is quite a mess. And if you want to clear everything out, if you want to delete everything out and clear the screen, you can run this command clear, and you are back again with the fresh screen. Right? So now you have learned how to create directories, how to create files, how to edit them, everything. And now I have 3 files inside my Learn Linux directory. Alright. So let's create another directory to learn some more commands like copy and move. So let's create a file to let's test1. So I'm creating a directory which is test1. So if I do ls, I should see all the files and the directory test1. So let's say I want to copy this file 1.txt from Learn Linux and copy it to test1. So to copy any files, I have to pass in this cp command. Cp stands for copy, name of the file 1.txt, and where do I want to copy it? I want to copy it in my test1. So this slash that you see at the end means it will be inside that directory, right? So if I do enter, this has shown me no error, which means I have copied the file inside test1. So let's go back to the graphical user interface. So I am here, this is the test1. I have copied my file from my Learn Linux to the test1. So I should see a file name as 1.txt inside this. So if you can see that there is a file 1.txt,
Yeah.
right? So cp command is used to copy the file, and when you copy, the file is also present in the original directory as well as there in the directory that you have looked into. So if I do here, and you can also ls directly from here rather than going into so I can just check what are the files listed in the test1. So I can do ls and I can see that 1.txt is present in test1. So this is copy command. Let's say we want to move a file. So to move a file, let's say I want to move 2.txt from Learn Linux to the test1 directory. So I can run mv command, which stands for move mv2.txt inside the test1. So if I press enter, it showed me no error, which means my command has run successfully. My file has been moved to the test1 directory. So if I do ls now, you should see that 2.txt is not present right now in the Learn Linux because it has been moved to the test1 directory. So if I do ls test1, I should see 2.txt present here as well.
Yes.
Right? So this was how to copy or move a file from one directory to another directory. So let's say you want to move this file to the home directory, or let's go to the home directory, and I want to move the 2.txt in my this folder, app folder. So how can I do this? So I can do this by, let's say 3.txt. I want to move this file from home. You have to paste in the full path. Like the path is from home to the app. So the home directory is also known as this file, right? We can also call this is our home directory. And what do we have inside our home directory? So we have 112 files. So we don't want to do that. So let's say I want to pass in the app. So what are the files that starts with A? So I can press tab key and I can see that all these files, all this directory starts with A. So I want to pass this in the app folder here. So I can do tab again, and this file will be transferred from Learn Linux directory to the app directory, which is from home to the app directory. So if I press enter, it has given me no errors, which means my file has been transferred successfully. So let's do ls and see if 3 is present or not. So you can see that 3 has been gone from here, and if I do ls home app, I should see that 3 is should be moved in here. So you can see that 3 has been moved here, right? So whenever you are working in some other directory which is one step back from here, you have to pass in the full path of that directory, right? Because this app is not present in the learn Linux directory, it is present in the home directory. So you have to first move to the home directory and then search for the app directory, then paste it or do any command you want. Right? So even if I want to delete the file 3.txt from my learn Linux command here, I can learn Linux directory here, I can do it by passing in the full path. So let's say I want to delete the rm.txt which is inside this path here, right? So I have to pass in full path, that is app. So app, and what files do I have? I have 3.txt, I have all these different files. I just need to delete the 3.txt. So I can pass this here, and if you do ls, so if I press up arrow key and I see the contents of app folder here, I can see that 3.txt is gone now.
Yeah.
Right? So I hope you have learned all the file commands, which is ls, which is cd, which is rm to remove, which is mkdir to create directories, which is test command to create files, nano command to create files with content, and mv command to move, cp command to copy as well, right? So let's clear it out. Clear is to clear all the things. So let me check what do I have here. To ls to list all of the things. So I have 1.txt. So you now know that move command is to move the files.
Move the file to directory.
Yes, but there is also one more thing that you can do with move commands, which is you can rename the file. So let's say I want to rename the 1.txt to my new file.txt. So I can also do it without, so I can move and rename the files with the same command. So if I press enter, you can see that there's no output or there's no error given out, and if I do ls, you can see that my file has been changed from 1.txt to my new file.txt. So this mv file can be used to move, also to rename the files. So, and if you want to get the information about any commands, I have already taught you about this manual command, which is man, and let's say I want to learn about the mv command or the move command. So I can press here and you can see that this command is used to move as well as rename the file. Right, so you can go here and learn about the options you want. You can check who was the author. So this Mike Parker, David McKenzie and Jim Mehring has created this command, and you can also learn about it, but that's of no use. You only need to know like how the command actually works. So I'm going to press Q, and I have now learned a lot of commands for the file, right?
Yes.
So now we are going to learn how to actually install packages, which is very important for every DevOps and every cloud engineer, because in your job role you'll be installing a lot of packages. You'll be installing Docker, you'll be installing Git, you'll be installing Jenkins, all the different tools, right? So
okay, who will be installing, cloud engineer or DevOps engineer?
You, DevOps engineer, is going to install.
No cloud one. Okay.
Yeah, even if you're cloud engineer, they might ask you to install, because there might be a company which does not have a DevOps or cloud engineer. They only have a single person to perform all the actions, so they can ask you to do it. And when you are giving interviews, they're going to ask you Linux knowledge. So if you're learning all of the things, why not to learn the installing packages as well?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So to install any packages, you have to run a command which is apt install in Ubuntu. So in Linux there are different flavors, like there is CentOS, there is Fedora, there is Debian, there is Ubuntu, there is Red Hat, all the different flavors in Linux, right?
Yeah.
So for Ubuntu you have apt, and if I do man apt, manual apt, it will show you that this is a command line interface which provides you high level command line interface for package management system. So apt is the packet manager of the Ubuntu, right? But for different flavors you have different packet managers. So let's say if I search for package managers in Linux, so it will give me different packet managers. So let's say apt is for Ubuntu, yum is for CentOS, d package is for another Linux flavor, rpm is for Red Hat Linux, and dnf is for Debian. So all of this are different package managers for different Linux flavors, right?
Yeah.
So we are using Ubuntu here. So we are using Ubuntu here. So we are going to use the apt package manager, right? So if I show you,
Now,
let's
you know,
uh-huh.
you say apt, and I've seen one is apt dash get.
Get apt-get is for different Linux flavors.
Ah, okay, all right.
So you have all the different type like apt-get, yum, rpm, dnf, pacman, synaptic, zip, aptitude, all of the different stuff. So if you're using, let's say you're using Amazon Linux AMI. So Amazon Linux is based on Fedora, and Fedora uses the yum package. So let's say if I search for install Docker on Amazon Linux AMI. So Amazon Linux AMI. Alright, so I'm going to get this blog here, and they're going to show me. So if you see here, it says sudo yum update, sudo yum search, sudo yum info, right? So you can see that yum is the packet manager. So you do sudo yum install Docker. If I copy this command and I paste it in my terminal, which is not Amazon Linux, which is not Fedora or CentOS, this is a Ubuntu image. So if I paste this, I'm going to get an error, and if I'm getting a prompt to enter the password because I'm using sudo, and I'm also going to tell you about what sudo actually is. So if I press enter, it says that command not found for yum. But if I do sudo apt install docker, so I already have Docker installed, but I'll still get the output. So if I do sudo apt docker install, it will tell me that okay, this is the packages which will be installed, and if you are sure you want to continue, just press Y. So it is going to install some of the stuff that is only 58 KB. So I'm going to press Y, enter Y and press enter. So it is going to install all of the stuff required for my Docker. So now you can see that Docker has installed, right? Because I'm using the apt packet manager. I cannot do it through yum packet manager because that is not used in Ubuntu. But the command is same. So if you use yum, you just have to type in sudo yum install docker, or if you're using Ubuntu, you just need to change the package manager, but the command is same. So
Yeah.
you
But
can
when you install it, do you install as a user or a root, as a normal user or root
so
user? Like now,
you can do it with your normal user as well, but most of the time there is an issue, something like this, right? So there is an issue like this which says permission denied. So if you want to do the task and you don't want to get an error like this, so there might be a term where I'm using the nasi user and I get an error here, right? I don't want to get an error. If I don't want to get an error, I can run sudo. Sudo means super user do. So super user or the root account, root user, it has all the privileges, it has all the permissions. So if you're using sudo, you are using a root account to perform that task. So if I do sudo apt install docker, it is not going to ask me for any, it is not going to show me any permission denied errors. And it is also asking me are you root. So if I do sudo apt install, it is going to run the command as it is. So it has run the command, and it says now that 0 upgraded, 0 installed, and 0 to remove, right? So using sudo apt, you can install any packages you want. You just need to know the package name, and if you're not sure, you can always use Google. Like let's say if you want to install git in Ubuntu, you can just do install git in Ubuntu and you will get the package name. So if you go here at Atlassian blog, it will show you the command. So let's say go here and scroll down. So it is going to, this is for the Mac has the package installer or package manager, which is brew. This is the Mac's package manager. But if you scroll down, you can see that there is going to be a command which is installing git. So you can see sudo apt get update and sudo apt get install git, right? So if I do sudo apt install git, I will get the status, or I will get the output, and it is showing me that 0 updated, 0 installed, because I already have the git installed here. So git is already installed, git is already the newest version. So you can download any packages you want with this command sudo apt, and even if you, let's say you have packages installed and you are working on any Linux machine, the first thing you should do is update all the packages. So you can sudo apt update, and it will give you all the updates, like what are the updates present. And if you want to upgrade it, you can do sudo apt upgrade, but let's do it all in a single command. So both the commands in a single command. So sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. So if I run this, it is going to update and upgrade all the packages that I have here. So I have all the packages like Universe, like Docker, and it is saying me that it is asking me for 526 MB. So I'm going to press Y, and it will start updating all the packages. So deb stable, kd, en, live, Kubernetes, updates. So AMD 64, libcom, all the packages that I have here is going to be updated and upgraded. Right, so now we have learned about the packet managers, like how to install packages in Linux, how to update them, how to upgrade them. Right, and if you want to, let's say, delete one of the packages, so for that you have a command name as sudo apt purge or sudo apt clean. So let me show you that once I have done this. So if you want, let's say you are working, you can also click here to open a new terminal. Right, so if I want to, let's say, delete any of the packages, so I can do this by sudo apt purge, and I can press here. So it will give me the options like what do I need to enter. So like sudo apt purge and git. So it is showing me an error because this is working, this is going on, the process is going on here, and let's wait. So it is saying that it is held by a process, the sudo apt is held by a process, so we have to wait for it to complete. So let's wait, we can also close the terminal here and let's wait. So it is 65% done. It is updating the packages for Brave browser, which I'm using.
Which is most common Linux is in use?
So Ubuntu is the most common and the most used Linux, most simplest as well. So if you are starting out and if you're using Linux, I would recommend you to use Ubuntu. Once you get the idea of Ubuntu, then you can try out like other flavors, maybe Kali Linux, maybe Fedora or Arch Linux, anything you want, but start with Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the simplest. You also have the graphical user interface. Like in Windows, you can also choose to do it graphically, but if you are using Linux, I would recommend you to go with the terminal, because you get a lot of permissions, you get a lot of features using terminals that you now know, right? You now have learned about all the file commands, you have learned about the copy, move, rename and delete commands. You also know about the installing packages command.
Yeah.
Right, so
apt
yes,
install.
so now you already, when you create an AWS instance, if you want to connect it, you use putty or the mbox term, right? Which
Most of the party is well known.
yeah, so putty, or when you use Windows, you use putty or the other third-party tools to connect to the instance that is there on the AWS account. Right, so we also call this SSH connection, because we put in the we browse the file and we find our key file and we paste it there, right? And then we are connected to the instance. So that is the graphical user interface, where you open the putty installer and then you load your key, then you enter your IP address, you enter your username. So all of that is a graphical user interface, but the same thing you can do it using the terminal as well. So for that you have a command which is SSH, which also stands for secure shell login. Right, so SSH stands for secure shell, and I am going to teach you like how you can connect to an Ubuntu instance or any Linux instance that is there on the AWS. So let's go ahead and launch an instance first. So I'm going to go here and sign into my Ubuntu Amazon account. So all right,
You want to create programmatic login through programmatic? Is it the one?
no, I'm not creating it programmatically. So
Okay.
So I'm going to go here and I'm going to, if I want I can do it through Terraform, but just to get it done correct fastly, so I'm going to use it. So if you, or else we can, if you want we can do it through, but we have to type in the key and all the other stuff. So let's go and do it.
This one is okay, the one you are doing now.
So yeah, my server, let's give it a name, my server, and I'm choosing Ubuntu. I am going to use T2 micro. I'm going to use my key which I have demo. I guess I have it somewhere saved. Yeah, I have it in demo key. So, and all the other stuff I'm only allowing SSH. Okay, and I'm going to create an instance. So in some time this instance will be created, and we can use SSH command to go into this instance directly using our terminal. So but for that we have to have the file present in our computer. So you can see that I have a demo key file present, which is here inside my folder. So let's see if it is done or not. So it's almost done and 99%. So this is how you update or upgrade your file. So now I have everything upgraded, everything is up to date now. All of there are in latest version. So let me clear it out and let me go back to the folder where my key is present. So if I do cd, I'm back into my home directory. If I do ls, I should see a folder. So let me search where my demo key is again. So it is in home and nasi folder. So let's go to this demo key. Alright, so you can see that I have a key here, demo key.pem.
Yeah.
Right, so let me wait for it to come up, so for it to running. So the command or the syntax is ssh username @ IP address. So this is the syntax, like how you can connect. So for here the username is going to be Ubuntu and the IP address is going to my IP address, which is this one here. So if I go here and click on connect, you'll get the command as well. So if I go here, and so you can see that this is the command which has the username @ you can also use your public domain, public DNS, or you can also use your IP address. So if I copy this, I can get the same, but I'm going to type in everything. But you can see here the -i, which is asking us for the demo key or the key file. So let's use that, but before that let's see if our instance is up or not. So it is still initializing, but let's try to connect it anyways. So I'm going to copy this here and I'm going to run ssh-i. What is my key file? So I can run, so I can give the path of the key file, which is demo key.pem, and I'm going to type in the username, which is Ubuntu @ so the name of the IP address. So if I pass in here, enter, it will ask me, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes, I am sure. So if I do yes, I should be inside my instance. So you can see that I am inside my instance. The username is Ubuntu and this is the host or the IP address. So now you can see that I am inside my Ubuntu instance. I can do anything I want. So you have learned SSH command. SSH is a command which will help you to remote logging into any server that is there inside, so if you have the key file, or if you have, so this one was the protected, so this one was protected, this was one not public, so I needed a key file. But most of the servers all over the world, they might be public, so you might not need any key file. You can just do it by SSH username and @ the host. So here it was the IP address, it can be anything. So this command, so if I do man SSH here, you can get a lot detail about it as well. So open SSH remote login client. You can remote logging into any server just by using this command. And this is one of the most important command if you're working as a cloud or DevOps engineer, because you will be remote logging into the instances or into any other's machines to maybe configure or do some task. Right? So now you have learned ls command, you have learned make directory command to create a directory which is test. So you have learned a command to create a file, touch file.txt. So now, so this is, it has created a file. You have run a command, you have learned a command to remove the file. So this one has removed it now. And you have learned a command to SSH, you have learned a command to install anything. So let's say I want to install sudo apt install docker. Right, so it will start installing docker now. So it says unable to package docker, so let's go and install git. So you need to know like what is the exact package name. So it says git is already installed. So using apt you can install, you can also use apt to sudo apt update.
But there is a one you said both, you can install and update.
Yeah, you can use both in a single line, but you have to pass in the and sign to separate. So you can run two commands in a single file like sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade, right? So this will also update and upgrade the files. So I don't want to waste time, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's say if I want to create a file, create a directory and go inside it. So I can do mkdir test2, and I also want to go in it. So I also want to, let's say, create a file in it. So touch file 1. So I have to pass in the full path. So which is going to be test2 hyphen file .txt. So this command is going to create a mk directory which is test2, and it is also going to create a file in it. So let's go inside this test2 file. So test2 and if you see here, you can see that file.txt is created as well.
Yeah.
So you can also use the pipe. Pipe is one of the separator as well to launch more, like run more commands in a single line.
All right.
So now
How
you
do you use why?
so you can use pipe, let's say like this, echo. So I have also taught you this in let me show you that. So when we were like using the user data script, you might have seen
yeah,
it, but let me show you that as well. So I'm going to show you an example. Yes, this one is here. So if you see in this we are using a file pipe here. So you can see here that there is a pipe here, right? So you can also use a file to
Use a, yeah. Use a
have,
better script.
yes. So no, you can use file to, like, you can use pipe to run more than one commands in a single line.
All right. Okay.
So now let's, if you run exit, I am going to go back into my own terminal, the local terminal. I am inside my Ubuntu instance which was created. So if I do exit, I am back again to my home nasi death note, right? So it says connection has been closed. So let's go and delete the instance first. So I'm going to do and terminate the instance. So now you have learned a lot, and if you want to check like which commands have you run till now, there's a command. So let's first clear it out. So there is a command to check what are the different commands you have run till now. So if I do history, I can see what I have done. I have done history, I have done clear. So these are all the different commands that I have run. So I can see like up to,
Let me take a screenshot of this one, the command.
yeah, you can take a screenshot. Or else I am recording this session right now. If you want, I can provide
Okay.
this session.
Yeah, please, yeah.
I am recording this session to like put it on YouTube,
Yes, please.
so people can get help. And I'm also going to sell it to someone, because I have a few people who don't have time to like attend sessions. They want me to record it and give it to them. So I'm going to do that. So now you have learned a lot of these commands. Let's go and learn some of the commands that should be known to all the DevOps engineer. So one of the command is, first let's go to learn Linux folder. So I'm inside my learn Linux folder. So there might be a case where you're working on an application where you have to give the path of a certain file inside that application, right? There might be a scenario like this where you have, let's say, what do I have in here? I have my new file.txt, right? I want to give the path of my new file.txt inside an application, or let's say to any developer who wants to know the path of my file.txt. How am I going to do this? I can run this command pwd, which stands for present working directory. So it will give me the path from the start to the end. So if I do, it will give me that path, like I am in my home, inside nasi, inside learn Linux, and this is the path. So if I, let's say, go in the test one and I run the pwd again, it is going to give me the whole path for all of the whole path, right? And I can also use this path to, let's say I want to delete my new file.txt from anywhere. So let's say I'm here in my home directory now, and I want to delete this my new file.txt. I can copy this one here. So let me copy it, let me paste it, and I can do, let's say, my new file.txt. So I have not put in anything here. So let's say I want to remove a file, right? So in my learn Linux, I have my new file. I can put it. So using this path, I can delete a file, and let's say I do ls inside my learn Linux, I should get that my new file.txt has gone now. So to check the path of the current working directory, you can use pwd, present working directory. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to know that who is the current user, you can run this command, who am I? I am Nasi. So to check what is the user. So if I want to, this command sudo su is going to change you from the user to the root user. So if I run sudo su, they are going to ask me a password. I'm going to enter the password, and if you see here, I am logged in as a root user. If I run who am I am root. Right?
Yeah.
So if I do exit, I'm back again to my user, and if I run who am I again, so I'm going to get that I am Nasi. So if you want to check who is the user or what is the current user, you can use who am I. If you want to check the current path, you are going to use the pwd. If you want to check what are the different commands you have used till now, you can use history command. And let's say you want to check if some packages are installed or not. Let's say I want to check if Docker is installed or not. I can just type in Docker, and if I get some output like this, I get the options. This means Docker is installed. Or I can also check with Docker -- version, which will give me the version of the tool, which means that Docker is installed, right? But let's say you can also use this command, which is which Docker, which will give you where Docker is actually placed inside our machine. So if I run which Docker, it shows that Docker is inside user /bin/Docker. This also tells you like Docker is already installed, but it also gives you the path of where the Docker is present. So I can also use this command to locate any other package. So let's say which git. Git is also stored in the same package.
But if you want to upgrade Docker now,
so I can run sudo apt update Docker or anything, or I can just run to update anything.
okay.
So like I can run sudo apt all or upgrade, right? So everything is going to be upgraded. This command, which is going to show you like where is it present. So I can also run, let's say I have Kubernetes, I have kubectl. So which kubectl, it is inside user local bin kubectl, right?
Okay.
And there is another command date, which is going to tell you the current date. So it's Thursday 7 July. And then you already know about nano now.
Yeah, Nano. Yeah.
So
Nano.
there's also another editor, which is vim. So let's go to the cd change directory to learn Linux first. So inside, what do I have? I have test. Let's create a file, and let's create it with the use of vim. So I can also create and edit it at the same time. So let's say I am creating a file.txt. So file.txt. So I am inside my vim editor now. So if you see something like this, it means you are inside a directory in a vim editor, and it says that it is a new file which is created right now. So if you want to edit something, if I am typing something but it is not showing me an error, so unless like it let me exit. So just a second, and okay, so let's use the VI again. So if I am typing anything, it can say that no under cursor. So if you want to actually start working with the vim editor, you have to first type in the I command, which stands for insert. So let me go back again and to show you. So now if I want to type in anything, I just have to first type in I on my keyboard. So once I type in I can actually start working on it. So I can create anything I want. So this is my new file, right? And if I want to exit this editor, I have to first press the escape key. Once I press the escape key, I can do this colon, as you can see here at the end. WQ means saving and exiting. QA means QA in this marks means exiting without saving.
Okay.
So now you might have seen that I already did QA exclamation mark, which has not saved anything. But if I do W key and I press enter, and if I do ls, you can see that file has been created, and if I do cat file.txt, I can see whatever was written inside it.
Similar to Nano.
Yes, similar to Nano, but a bit complex, because you can get a file like this, but if you start typing, you cannot like do anything in it. So you can see, unless I type in I cannot do anything in it.
Yeah.
Right? So it is a bit confusing, and if you want to escape, you have to type in, like, if you want to save it, just type in WQ. If you don't want to save it, QA and this. So this can be confusing, but I would suggest you to use Nano, because Nano is very, very easy compared to VI. But you can also use VI now, because I have taught you VI. Okay, so we have learned a lot of file commands, a lot of good to know commands, and we have also learned about how to install, how to SSH. Let's learn a bit about network commands which you might be using. So network command, one of them is the ping command. Ping is used to check if the connection is established or not. So let's say I'm going to ping google.com. So if I am connected to my internet, or if google.com is up and running right now, it should give me response, right? So if I do enter, you can see that it is giving me response. So 64 bytes from this. So Google is giving me commands, right? So if I do Control C, I am going to exit this now. If I do ping, let's say Amazon.com. So if Amazon.com is up right now, I should get the packets back from them. So you can see that 64 bytes are getting back from this, which is the path or the IP address for Amazon.com.
Yes.
Right? So this is one of the command to check if there is a connection between the servers or not. Ping is one of the command. If you want to check what is your IP address, you can run this command. It will give you the IP address. So this is one. So you can get the IP address. So this is your IP address, and the other details about the. So it is also giving you the Docker IP address here. So another command is ns lookup. So let's say I want to get the details about some domain, which is, let's say, google.com maybe. So I'm going to run google.com, and it is giving me the IP address of it. This is the IPv6 address, and let's say I am going to get the, so what can I search for? So Shout Me Loud is one of the blog. So if I want to get the idea of what is, so I can run here Shout Me Loud, and it will give me that this is the name, this is the address, this is the name, this is the address. So a bit more about what this host, right? So ns lookup is one of the networking commands. Another command is curl command. So if I want to get the contents, so let's say if I do it graphically, I can go here, I can go to google.com, and what can I see here? I can see a logo Google, I can see a search box, I can see Google search, I'm feeling like everything. So I can do the same thing using commands as well. So if I curl google.com, I can see that so here it says the document has been moved. So let's copy this here. So curl and paste it. Sorry. So you can see that this is the same thing that is there, but this is in form of HTML. But still, that you can see something. So here Google search, which is same as here Google search, and you can also find something more like I am feeling lucky. You can see it here. So this is the same context, but this is in the form of HTML. This is how the websites are actually made. So if you want to get the contents of the website or anything, you can run curl command to actually get it. Right? So let's take an example. Let's take an example of aws.com. So I am here inside my AWS Amazon.com. If I want to get this whole without going to the website, without searching it on the internet, I can go here, and let me clear it out first. So I can do curl and paste the link. So it will give me everything. So if you can see that it is exactly what is shown on the website. So if I scroll up to the, so you can see that there was something like Amazon Builders Library. So if I do Amazon Builders, so you can see Amazon Builders Library here.
Yes.
So this is the exact thing what is there, but you can get the idea, like you can get the contents of the website by running the curl command. So if you do man curl, you can get a lot more information about it. So you can see that transfers a URL is a tool to transfer data from one server to another, and you can also use all the different components to get idea about it. So curl is to get the contents of the website, right? And there's another command which is wget. So wget can be used to download the files, right? So let's say I want to download Python in my machine, Ubuntu machine. So I have already opened a website. So if you go here, so you can run this command wget, and if I just open this, it will start downloading this in my local machine. So if I go to and it is downloading it in my machine, right? But if I do this, so let's say I want to wget and I paste it here. So let me erase this. So wget is to get the package or whatever is there. So it can be anything. It can be a image file, it can be a video, it can be a package, it can be anything. You can download it using wget. You just need to get the exact link which is actually downloading it.
Alright, so for the link you use wget.
Yeah, no, you don't use wget to get the link. You use wget to actually download it. So now I am using this to using it to open a file, and this is done through graphical user interface, right? If I go here and I open it, this is done through graphical interface. So I have to save it, and then it will start downloading, right? But I can do it the same way using wget. So if I press enter here, now it has start downloading it. So you can see that it is downloading 3.52 MB or something, and it says that it has been saved. So if I do ls, you can see that Python is present here. It means to get whatever you have pasted in the link for. So non-interactive network downloader is a free utility for non-interactive download of files from the web. So without going to the web, you are actually downloading stuff. You just need to have the link for it.
Yes.
So I hope you have learned a lot about Linux commands today.